Sea Shepherd has a special relationship with Antarctica. For the last 12 years, the organization has headed down every austral summer to defend marine wildlife in these waters.
Illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing is a term that's used to describe the different types of fishing piracy that basically takes place. Antarctica is particularly vulnerable to IUU fishing because of its remoteness. That remoteness makes it difficult to surveil, it makes it difficult for there to be enforcement, and it creates a law enforcement void. Sea Shepherd's job is when we see a law enforcement vacuum, we act to fill it.
Illegal fishing is a global issue, but given the connection that this organization shares with Antarctica, we've taken it upon ourselves once again this year to head down south, and we will keep returning until the last of the poachers have been driven out of these frigid waters. Sea Shepherd now has two opponents in Antarctica: the Japanese whaling fleet, which is acting completely illegally, and the toothfish poachers, which are criminal operators targeting the high seas of Antarctica. With criminality, there are no distinctions. The Steve Irwin will depart from Fremantle and head down to Antarctica and tackle criminality as it sees it.
Illegal toothfish operators jeopardize the Antarctic environment by targeting apex predators in the Antarctic ecosystem. The toothfish are apex predators, which means that they are critical to the marine ecosystem and the health of it.
Last year, the crew of the Samson pulled in 72 kilometers of illegal gill nets off the fishing vessel Thunder. And during this 5-week period, we returned back to the ocean 50,000 kilos of toothfish. Now, just to put a monetary value on that toothfish just entering the market stands at $1 million. That revenue generation goes up about 200 times by the time it gets to somebody's dinner plate at a top-end restaurant. So we're literally talking about multiple millions of dollars worth of fish that was stopped from being traded and the money going into the pockets of these organized crime syndicates.
Operation Icefish started with a checklist of 6 illegal toothfish operators. Out of those 6, 1 has sunk, another 3 are detained in ports in Cabo Verde and Malaysia, but 2 of these vessels remain at large.
The Kunlun is owned by the Spanish crime syndicate, the Vidal Group, and has been operating in Antarctica for the last 13 years. The other vessel which will be targeted will be the Viking. She was formerly known as the Snake and was actually the first vessel to ever be listed by an Interpol Purple Notice alert. She is known to operate out of a false company in Hong Kong and has been arrested and detained multiple times in Southeast Asia.
Sea Shepherd considers these 2 toothfish poachers to be fugitives from justice, and on Operation Icefish 2, the Steve Irwin, commanded by Captain Siddharth Chakravarty, will track down these 2 fugitives, shut them down, and bring them to justice. The Steve Irwin is the flagship of the Sea Shepherd fleet. It's done more Antarctic whale defense campaigns than any other Sea Shepherd vessel, so this is a ship that is tried and tested in the Antarctic environment. This is the ship that the toothfish poachers have every reason to fear when it comes over the horizon to shut down their criminal operations.
It's become clear today that international conventions and regulations have not been able to keep up with the adaptability and the resilience of illegality on the oceans. What this basically means that there are enough loopholes that allow these operators to exist. Criminality is almost too easy on the oceans. And what that means is that when traditional law enforcement fails, a civilian group like Sea Shepherd breaks through the loopholes, acts a bit outside traditionally defined law enforcement measures, but uses that to the advantage to bring protection to the oceans.